Kathy Bartolini, and I represent Southborough on the Metro West Regional Transit Authority. We're here today because our new regional facility has finally come to fruition. We now have a fully operational regional transit system which includes trips for Southborough that covers 15 different communities and can link people in Southborough to places such as Wellesley, or to the Veteran Services in Boston, or to the Solomon Pond Mall, grocery stores, whatever. You can now be linked, and it's not age-derived. It's any resident of Southborough is eligible to do this. The facility I'm standing in front of had its ribbon cutting today. It's in Framingham. It's a recycled building. And we are also in the process of establishing a natural gas regional transportation fleet of buses. We also run a regional training program for the CDL licenses, so we are an employment center. If you want to get a CDL license, check in with us and we'll see what we can do to get you into the program. We have now 50 people who have gone through that program. I'm also, as you know, a member of your planning board, and it's in that seat that I was asked to serve the Regional Transit Authority. Our TV services today took time to come out and cover the whole ribbon cutting. Congressman Clark was here, and the head of the Ways and Means Committee for Massachusetts was here, Senator Pollard. So please, listen to the whole show, see what people have said, where we came from, and where we're planning to go to make transportation available to all of you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So let me go through some of our honored guests. I won't mention all individual members of the MBTA advisory board that are here, the MWRTA, there's a faux pas, MWRTA advisory board who are here with us today, but thank you all for your service and joining us this morning. From our fantastic Metro West legislative contingent, we have Carolyn Dykma, Tom Santacandro, Jamie Eldridge, Chris Walsh, Carmen Gentile. We have also Danielle Gregoire. Who else am I missing? Dave Linsky. I apologize, Dave. And from our senatorial group in the legislature, we have Madam Chairwoman Karen Spilka, who's been a great ally of this, and Senator Jamie Eldridge. Sorry, Jamie. I've known you as long probably as anyone on this dais, so Senator Eldridge as well. So all of you, thank you very much, and also we're honored to have Catherine Clark here as well. I will go through my remarks. I know we have the state representative also. From the Baker administration, representing Transportation Secretary Pollock, the new director of Rail and Transit, overseeing all of the Commonwealth's RTAs, my former boss, Astrid Glenn, Ashley probably doesn't know this, but I learned more in the 2 years I worked for her than I did in a lot of the other 2 years of my life. So thank you, Ashley. We're in good hands with a partner like Astrid. Astrid's hand on the tiller as we serve our region. I've had the great fortune to have joined Ed and many of you here today from nearly the beginning of this endeavor. I can't tell you how proud I am to see yet another significant milestone reached by this organization in opening this truly wonderful maintenance facility. And I would say on time, on budget, and on a pretty austere budget as well. The taxpayer dollars went a long way in building this facility, which will serve so many towns throughout the region. While this building is brick and mortar, it reflects the efforts of so many good people working together for a common cause. That cause to provide consistent, cost-effective regional transportation to our member community. Introduce Cheryl Tully-Stoll, representing the Framingham Board of Selectmen. Cheryl?
On behalf of the town of Framingham, I would like to welcome everyone here and express how happy the town is to have this new state-of-the-art facility located in our community. The MWRTA has been a tremendous community partner over the years, and I look forward for the town collaborating even more in the future with the MWRTA, and this facility offers so many opportunities for us to do that we wouldn't have had otherwise. The RTA offers a great deal to Framingham in this community. We have transportation services that people desperately need and rely on. And the new facility is going to allow for greater services, synergies, and a return for the people in this community in the region that I'm happy to be able to represent the people of Framingham at today's opening. Best wishes on behalf of the town, and enjoy the rest of the ceremony.
Made this possible. Thank you, Ed Carr. As we all know, that last little recitation we had to do is complete nonsense. It couldn't be any dope. In fact, it takes an exceptional leader and an exceptional team builder and visionary to put this all together. So Ed, we are so very grateful. And the Metro West Regional Transit Authority, everyone who helped make this, Eva, everyone behind it. It's just an incredible day to be here and to see how far this has come. And I am thrilled to be joined by my state colleagues, Senators Spilka and Eldridge, Representatives Walsh, Linsky, Gentili, Santacandro, and Gregoire. The 25th Marine Regiment, and all of you in celebrating this grand opening of the new Metro West Regional Transit Authority Maintenance and Operational Facility. Because right now, we are where it is rightly known as the crossroads of New England, the Metro West region where people come to live, to start a business, and to raise a family. And as the hub between two of Massachusetts' largest cities, the largest cities in Massachusetts, this new state-of-the-art facility helps connect communities, not just in Metro West, but across the state. It connects businesses that want to expand and a talented and diverse workforce. It connects students to exceptional colleges like Framingham State University and Regis. It connects commuters to jobs and families to world-class hospitals and healthcare facilities. The Metro West Transit Authority and leadership throughout this region have made expanding ridership and connecting passengers their top priority. They understand that so many depend on their services to get to work, to further their education, or to provide for their family. Their mission to promote inclusion and diversity continues to provide access for thousands of commuters, while at the same time strengthening our sense of community. To keep this engine of innovation and economic growth moving forward in our region, we must continue to invest in this type of sustainable transportation. Please consider me a partner in these efforts. Congratulations to all who made this possible, and thank you very much for the birthday greetings. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Charlie Sabatier, who was a Vietnam veteran. He was wounded in Vietnam, And not too long ago, he succumbed to his wounds. And Charlie was a hero, and very much the way Paul Spooner, my hero, is to a lot of people. He advocated for the disabled. He did the things that needed to be done to get disabled people the access and accessibility that they needed. Well, interestingly enough, Charlie's name is on the wall in Washington, D.C. now, one of the few that have been added since the war. And as I bring it up, we have on that back table there a monument, a replica of what we're going to produce on the front lawn here of the Metro West Regional Transit Authority. And it's nice to know that Charlie's name is going to be on that as a Metro West resident and somebody with his name on the black granite wall down in Washington. So without further ado, my good friend Peggy Griffin.
Good morning. Thank you, Ed, for that introduction. Doesn't quite go with the notes I had, so I'm going to have to wing it here. First of all, let me get my official work out of the way. I am here on behalf of the Regional Administrator, Mary Beth Mello, of the Federal Transit Administration, to congratulate Ed, his team, and everyone in this community celebrating the opening of this facility. It's going to bring such improved services, improved morale for the staff. I don't know if any of you saw the other offices they were working in. I certainly did, and this is an incredible improvement. And of course, Ed's commitment to all aspects of his community, whether it's your limited English proficiency, your average rider, your low-income rider, your disabled riders, it's unsurpassed in the community. He's been an outstanding asset for us, and we're happy to partner with him. On a personal note, with the memorial coming, as many of you know, Vietnam veterans weren't given the due that veterans today receive. Ed knows that as a Vietnam vet, and I think many of the Marines here as well. So personally, I really appreciate his efforts to continue to recognize and honor the sacrifices of all of those who have laid their lives down for this country and for their fellow soldiers. So I look forward to seeing all of you here next year when the memorial is built. And again, congratulations, job well done. Thanks very much.
So without further ado, Astrid Glenn.
Hello. After that, I feel like I should just sit down and call it good. I am very pleased to be here, though, to this opening of this building, which is proof positive that if Ed Carr has an idea, you should listen, because sooner or later, it's going to become a reality. And this reality is a very important one. It really sets the stage for a couple of initiatives which I have no doubt that Ed will bring home. One, of course, is the fact that he has built here a facility that will allow for twice the fleet to someday have a home here, as you can find right now. That's very important given Metro West's location between two of our most important cities, Boston and Worcester, and in an area that is rich with talent and economic opportunities. So I have no doubt that Ed will succeed in his goal of reducing headways so that everybody in this area can get where they're going a lot faster and more comfortably than they can now. He also has in this building put an amazing capacity to help some of our citizens who are perhaps most closely tied to transit. He has put in this building some state-of-the-art technology that will help travel training and will help the Metro West RTA continue to serve the elderly and disabled with the distinction that they already bring to that field. And in locating this building where he has, Ed has set it up for a real intermodal connection. The train isn't that far away, and the train is going to be running by this place, hopefully on time, regularly. So I look forward to the day when not only can customers come here and enjoy this facility, but use some of the pedestrian facilities that Ed is envisioning, and really enjoy a truly multimodal and a fast and efficient and comfortable transit experience through Metro West. Again, I want to thank Ed for making a reality of something that he envisioned and we will all benefit from. Thank you very much.
Tribute to our veterans through the soon-to-be construction of the Vietnam Veterans Monument out front. Ed mentioned in his comments that this has been a collaborative effort, but I really do want to recognize him, and I know other speakers already have, that Ed really had the vision for this facility, but he also was very careful to pay attention to the details and making sure that the critical state and federal funding happened. And I do want to thank the state and federal agencies that were responsible for delivering the $12 million, including $9 million in federal funding and $3 million in state funding. And to that point, I really just want to give a terrific thank you to Congresswoman Catherine Clark. And you know, Ed talked about the fact that for many years, I think we felt to some extent that Metro West was being left behind. And I can't thank Catherine enough for how much she pays attention and how much she shows up through Metro West. So Catherine, thanks so much for doing that and helping secure that funding. Really appreciate it. Ed also talked about the Metro West Legislative Delegation Caucus, and I think it's important to remember that before this facility could ever become a reality, of course, there had to be a Metro West Legislative Caucus. And so I really want to thank the leadership of Representative David Linsky and Senator Spilka for creating the caucus and for co-chairing it for so many years. And of course, it was under their leadership that the Metro West RTA was created in 2008. So I really want to thank them for doing that, for showing the leadership and vision, and representing a district, again, that's west of here. Now to have bus service that's serving towns like Southborough and Marlborough in my district is fantastic. So I want to thank everyone involved in the Legislative Caucus. This is a real exciting victory, especially, of course, for Framingham, but I think for all communities that are served by the MWRTA. I also now just want to ask the two legislators who actually represent Framingham at the state level if they could come up and say a few brief remarks. So I'd like to ask Representative Chris Walsh to come up and say a few words. Representative?
Well, good morning. My father, Admiral Jack Walsh, Admiral Navy, gave me some very good advice once. Among other things, he said, never argue with a Marine. But it will always be necessary to add nuance to their positions. And the nuance today is that change is inevitable. And the question is whether or not we as a community or we as people plan for it, envision it, and embrace it. Now, in fact, Ed has been instrumental in envisioning and planning and embracing this new facility, this concept of intermodal transportation, and I think that it would not have happened without him. So as much as he would like to sort of sidestep that issue, I think we all really here understand that the nuance of the situation, that Ed is central to this and deserves an immense amount of credit. Now, having said that, our communities are growing and changing in ways that a lot of people don't really understand, sometimes don't even like. But the fact is, we really have to embrace that change, and this part of the world has no bounds when we really embrace this change and get going. So I would just like to add my congratulations to this whole piece. I would like to invite Tom Sedicandro up and Carmen Gentile up, who also represents Framingham. Good, we're waiting for them to get there. So as we go forward, this will become a central hub for the whole Metro West area, and I'm really thrilled for that. So, thank you. Tom?
Thank you, Chris. For me, this is the heart of my district, so I am so excited to have this facility here in this part of Framingham that's going to make a tremendous difference. Everybody's talked about Ed Carr today. I need to mention him myself. I've been in state government now for 10 years, more than 10 years, and I've never seen anyone be able to work the system in the way that Ed does. For those of you that are involved, you understand what I'm talking about. For those of you not involved, Ed brought us out here in the middle of winter to look at a shell of a building, talking about all the great plans that he had, when we had no money. There was no money. He said 3 million, 5 million, we'll figure it out. But to see anybody in government to come out and look at a shell of a building in the middle of a neighborhood that really could need some help and say, look, this is my vision. And then to come out a few years later and he's talking about pedestrian pathways, he's talking about a Vietnam memorial, he's talking about all these things, and he says, I have the money to do that. So thank you, Ed, for making a difference in this community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. I'm very happy to be here with you today. Many years ago, my dad worked over at the GM plant not too far from here. He worked for the railroad, and I remember him telling me stories in the wintertime. They had winters somewhat like we had a few months ago. They'd be taking the cars off the trains, and they'd crash them, and this would be a daily occurrence, multiple times a day. No, Ed Carr has done a terrific job, and you know, we have 14 other regional transit authorities in the state, so we need to maybe start an Ed Carr Academy and help out our other regional transit authorities. The governor's looking after the MWRTA, but the other regional transit authorities in the state need to move along as we are here. This is a wonderful facility. Our transit authority is a job creator. It's a creator for educational advancement. People can travel with the MTA to Boston, to Worcester, around this area, and it drives the economy. And we're just so happy to see this facility here today and to have the RTA strengthened. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your support.
Senator Karen Spilka.
Good morning, or is it? It's afternoon. Good afternoon. I want to just start out by thanking Ed and all of the Metro West RTA staff. I won't enumerate all of them because then it'll just take a lot longer time, but you all do such amazing work every single day. Customer service is right up there, and you epitomize it, so thank you so much. I also want to acknowledge, and again, I won't reiterate everybody that's here, but thank you for being here, all of the officials and selectmen. I think Rob Shear is here as well from the Ashland Board of Selectmen, and Josh Ofstraw from Natick. I think that we've gotten most of them. But I do want to start out with just some recollections and remembrances, because we were sitting in my office thinking about some of the start of this RTA. And it's been a long journey, and in deference to one of my favorite bands, it's been a long, strange trip, a long time. That's the Dead, for those that don't know. 10 years ago, we didn't have any cohesive or consistent public transportation in the Metro West region. Probably many of you remember that Framingham's the lift. Sporadic, as much as Framingham tried, it was sporadic, it was difficult to rely upon, partly, and sorry to the T, but it kept on getting cut. The funding kept on getting cut, and we in the legislature would have to rally to restore the funds.
and it only served a few communities. So when I first became senator, my top goal was to create and to help Metro West have an RTA. And actually, I looked for it this morning. I used to have a Metro West Daily News cartoon up on my State House door. It was a group of skeletons at the bus station. And the caption was, "Waiting for the bus," because it was never coming. So I remember in late 2005, I was elected in 2005, late 2005, I got together with Ed. This was my introduction actually to Ed. He introduced himself to me with a stack of maps and spreadsheets. And interestingly, we met in one of the conference room of the Ways and Means, Senate Ways and Means. And we talked and he showed me maps of the RTAs across the state. And you could see this gaping white emptiness, a hole in the whole Metro West area. And I'd hear from my colleagues, oh, the western part of the state does not have much public transportation, or certain other areas, but the largest hole was the greater Metro West area. So I actually carried that map around with me in order to help make some changes. And it was a long process to get the legislation passed to allow us to create an RTA and be here today. And the process to secure fair funding is still ongoing. So it's great to have Congresswoman Clark here as part of it and to advocate in DC for the federal dollars for this critical service. This state-of-the-art facility shows how far we have all come. It's the third major facility, actually, that the Metro West RTA has had. We had countless of meetings and tours over the past decade. There was a dog and pony show with town officials and legislators and citizens, and actually here and out to this area, multiple governors and secretaries and transportation, and in making this facility a reality. This building, as you've heard, went from an eyesore, coming here and puddles and rust, and I'm not creeped out by bugs or dirt or anything, but you really did not want to touch the walls or much walking around here, unless you had a tetanus shot when you beforehand. So it's gone from an eyesore to a modern, beautiful temple of transportation. Temple, yes. This building will allow the Metro West RTA to provide better service at lower cost. The location really helps to better connect downtown and the train station. It's a cornerstone of downtown revitalization and closer, as is mentioned also, to the hub of Framingham. It will better connect Metro West communities to each other and the rest of the state. But the Metro West RTA provides also a critical service for the Metro West communities. As you all know, reliable, effective, convenient public transportation is key for quality of life and our local economy. They are intertwined. You can't really separate it out. And Metro West is a major economic driver for the state. Public transportation is critical. It's necessary to keep our region growing. The typical commute is no longer to the city anymore, into Boston. 57% of Metro West residents commute to employment centers within our region. You just think of all the major businesses from EMC to Boston Scientific, Shoppers World, Natick, the hospitals, and all in between. Our communities have a pressing need for transportation services, and this facility shows the importance of transportation in our region. It reflects the RTA's commitment to boosting the local economy through reliable, dependable, and accessible transit services, whether it be taking people back and forth to work or transporting our disabled, our seniors, our teens, and whoever may need, low income may need public transportation. The Metro West RTA is basically weaving together the fabric of 15 member communities. And when you think about that, that's a pretty amazing thing. It's creating a common regional identity when 10 years ago, it just wasn't here before. So it's sort of bigger than the sum of its parts. And I think back and remember that Framingham did take the lead in joining the RTA, and I do acknowledge Dennis Giambetti, who was on the Board of Selectmen at that point. And there was a group of us that went across the Metro West communities giving presentations, this little dog and pony show, to show the benefits of joining the RTA. And then Natick and Ashland and Holliston and others joined in to expand to the current 15-member communities. From Marlborough to Milford to Natick to Wellesley to Wayland, the RTA reaches the four corners of Metro West. But it's more than just the transportation system. It's brought together the folks in these communities to have discussions about other issues beyond the RTA and sharing and resource building. So that's really a significant contribution of the RTA that sometimes gets unnoticed. Moreover, it's also a community institution committed to ongoing partnerships and innovation. And that's what, when I think of this RTA and what Ed and the staff have done, the power of partnerships reigns over everything that is done. It's the Metro West RTA, I like to call it public transit with a heart. It's gone to improve and expand service. It's unique, I believe, among all of other public transportation. The RTA is an umbrella for so many important services and programs. This new facility has incredible public access for meetings and educational uses to best serve our community. It's shown a terrific commitment to accessibility in terms of its service to the riders, but also in its working environment. The building is very warm and welcoming, and every door, every area, ingress and egress is accessible, but for one. The RTA has collaborated closely with the Mass Commission for the Blind and the Metro West Center for Independent Living, with Paul Spooner's contribution, to hire great workers. And all of this is accessible to really allow anybody of all abilities be here. The incredible commercial driver's license program is a workforce development program. And you have to realize too that is unique for RTAs, to create workforce development programs to get people in our community good salaries, good middle-class jobs, self-supporting themselves. And just a few months ago was the opening. There was a feature where some of the folks, over 50 people, have gone through that. And they now have gone from, some of them may have needed some assistance for their survival, and now they're self-sufficient, earning $15 an hour. That's pretty amazing. This has had a real impact on people's lives. There's also a new pilot program in this year's budget that hopefully will not be vetoed by the governor today when he puts out his vetoes, just to let you know. It's in partnership with SMOC, and the Metro West RTA is providing transportation to 100 low-income families in Metro West as part of the DTA Employment Services program for childcare, job training, and other employment services. Again, ensuring that people can get a job, because they can't do it if they can't get there. They can't do it if they don't have childcare. So again, this is transit with a heart. And this is another example in the veteran services and the connections to the reverse commute. I mean, just so many different things that I have to just add. When Ed and his staff have seen a problem, it's let's get it done. Let's figure out a way and let's do it without a whole lot of fanfare, without a whole lot of glory, but just get it done. One of my favorite innovations is the Metro West RTA's commitment to going green. This new facility is seeking funding for all natural gas fueling. Again, really innovative. And it will make the bus fleet as green as possible. It hopes to spread this green idea to member municipalities to help convert their vehicles as well. And then renovating this building, which was previously, as you heard, run down. What an incredible recycling effort this has been, too. And finally, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, a first in the kind for Metro West. Bringing something like this and initiating a memorial is really long overdue, and it's a tribute to our soldiers and people who put themselves on the line. So it will be wonderful for our community, state, and country. So partnerships are the hallmark of this organization with SMOC, Framingham State, Mass Bay, Mass Commission for the Blind, Center for Independent Living, Councils on Aging, veterans, towns, the state, the federal government. This building is a symbol, it's just but a symbol of all of those incredible partnerships and connections. And I'd like to close with a quote. And this quote is, "I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do." And this is by Leonardo da Vinci. And notably, if anybody has ever gotten an email from Ed Carr, it appears at the bottom of his email, and it sums up his outlook and approach to life perfectly. Congratulations, Ed. Congratulations to your staff. Congratulations to the board and all of the hundreds of people that have participated, past and present, and to the future, in creating this wonderful place, and for going above and beyond to make sure the RTA continues to grow and innovate, and for always doing more. I look forward to continuing this journey. And I do have a legislative citation that I won't read the whole thing. And it says, don't read, but it's to the RTA in recognition of the joyous occasion of the grand opening of your new operations and maintenance facility. It's to the Metro West RTA from the delegation. Congratulations.